All right, let's get right into it. We're on a hunt for the truth about one of history's most famous rulers, Queen Cleopatra. But you know what? This isn't just a history lesson. This is about pulling back the curtain on one of the most successful, longest-running character assassinations of all time. So for more than 2,000 years, there have been two completely different stories about this woman. On one side, you've got the Roman myth, the scandalous foreign temptress who used her body to bring down Rome's greatest generals. And then, on the other side, you have the reality, the one that's actually backed up by evidence. A brilliant, multilingual intellectual who is the CEO of one of the world's greatest powers. So, which one is it? Let's follow the facts.
To get to the truth, you first have to understand the story her enemies, the guys who won, desperately needed the world to believe.
This story, you see, was cooked up by her biggest rival, Octavian. And it wasn't just some story. Oh no, it was a weapon. He painted her as this dangerous, over-the-top foreign woman whose very existence was a threat to the moral fabric of good old Rome. And here's the most important part. This was all just a political strategy. A brilliant one, actually. By turning Cleopatra into the villain, he could frame his war against his rival, Mark Antony, as a holy crusade to defend Roman values. It legitimized his own power grab. So in the end, it wasn't Cleopatra who destroyed the Roman Republic. It was the Romans' fear of a powerful woman that gave them the perfect excuse.
But what happens when we throw out all that Roman propaganda and just look at the hard evidence from her time as ruler? Well, a totally different picture comes into focus. Let's look at her resume.
For 22 years, that's more than 2 decades, Cleopatra expertly managed her kingdom. She brought peace and prosperity during a time of absolute chaos in the region. That's a track record most male rulers back then could only dream of. And we're not talking about small changes here. She stabilized the entire economy. She went after corrupt officials, and get this, during a massive drought, she opened up the royal granaries to feed her people and even passed tax amnesties. And what was the result? In over 20 years of her rule, there were no major public revolts. Her people actually supported her. And she wasn't some distant Greek queen either. She was the only ruler in her entire 300-year-old dynasty who even bothered to learn the native Egyptian language. Think about that. She spoke to her people directly in their own tongue. That earned her a level of respect her ancestors never came close to.
And her influence wasn't just inside Egypt. When Julius Caesar spent time with her in Alexandria, which was home to the greatest library in the ancient world, he wasn't just on vacation, he was learning. He went back to Rome and started putting Egyptian ideas into practice. He reformed the calendar, ordered a census, and even planned a public library. That's a direct transfer of knowledge from her civilization to his.
Now, while historians are busy debating her legacy, there's one archaeologist who believes the ultimate proof of Cleopatra's greatness isn't written in some old text. Nope, she thinks it's buried deep under the sand, just waiting to be found.
For more than a decade now, Dr. Kathleen Martinez, who was actually a lawyer before all this, has dedicated her entire life to one single incredible mission: finding Cleopatra's final resting place. She's using her skills as an investigator to follow clues that everybody else just missed.
See, she argues that for centuries, people have been looking in the completely wrong place. Not in Alexandria, which is now partly underwater, but 30 miles away at an ancient temple city called Taposaurus Magna. And she believes Cleopatra chose this specific, sacred spot for a very strategic reason. And you know what? Her persistence is paying off big time. Over the years, she's found hundreds of coins with Cleopatra's face on them, proving the temple was important during her reign. And just recently, after finding a massive underground tunnel, she brought in some serious tech, military-grade ground-penetrating radar. And that scan revealed exactly what she was hoping for: a huge, 30-foot wide hidden chamber right underneath the temple. The sheer size of this thing suggests it's a tomb of incredible importance, a tomb fit for the last pharaoh of Egypt.
So why would she be buried there, so far from the capital? Well, the answer isn't just about hiding from the Romans. It's about theology, and honestly, one of the most brilliant personal branding strategies in all of human history.
To really get Cleopatra, you have to get Isis. Isis was one of Egypt's most powerful and beloved goddesses. She represented magic, motherhood, protection, and she was worshipped by literally everyone, from the average Egyptian farmer to the ruling Greek elite. So, here was Cleopatra's masterstroke. She declared herself the living, breathing reincarnation of Isis on Earth. This wasn't just some claim, it became her whole identity. You can see it in temple carvings where she's shown wearing the headdress of Isis. This move cemented her status as a divine protector in the eyes of her people.
And this branding went all the way to her death. Her suicide was not an act of a heartbroken lover. It was a final, calculated political statement. She chose to die by the bite of a cobra, the asp, which wasn't just any snake. It was the sacred symbol of divine protection for the pharaohs for 3,000 years. She died as a true Egyptian ruler, not as some Roman captive.
And so, right here, the two hunts, the academic hunt for her real story and the physical hunt for her actual tomb, they finally come together in this one spot.
Archaeologists are now closer than they have ever been to what could be one of the greatest discoveries of our lifetime. Next season, Dr. Martinez's team is going back. And for the first time in 13 years, they know exactly where they need to dig.
And while we wait, the story of Cleopatra really forces us to face an uncomfortable pattern, doesn't it? Why do we define men like Caesar by their military genius, but a woman who successfully ran a nation for 22 years gets defined by her relationships? It makes you ask who gets to write history and what their real motives are. It really feels like it's time to restore the legacy of a brilliant CEO, a powerful scholar, and a political fighter who went down swinging. But, the verdict of history is never final. So I want to know what you think. What is Cleopatra's true legacy? Let us know in the comments, and make sure you follow for more explainers that dig deep into the stories behind the story.